unbelievable. Exactly. That was a nice story. See, sometimes there's good stuff in the media. So, any questions? Last chance, I'm going to wrap up. Topics that I didn't hit. Yes?
Have you ever considered the possibility that the reason we don't find other civilizations is because the Large Hadron Collider, or any other civilization that might build one, really does make a black hole that sucks up the civilization? The civilization reaches that point and disappears.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, and by that logic, then it may have already happened. And now that it's online, it's possibly happened and dropped into the Earth, and it's just very slowly eating the Earth up. But, yeah, I'm not, I think you meant that facetiously. And, I'm going to assume that, or you wouldn't have paid to be at this conference. Unless you're, a journalist or something, trying to get this side of it. But, yeah, I think that the take on, I'm sorry I missed this presentation, but I think that most physicists think that it's very unlikely that the black holes would be created, and even if they were, they might disappear so quickly that we wouldn't even detect them. And higher energy collisions are happening in the atmosphere constantly. So if it's a problem, it was a problem long before we built the LHC. So, yeah.
That's way too serious for an answer.
Yeah, I know. I guess I should have just... Did you ever read a story called The Hole Man by Larry Niven? It's a kind of classic story about a device discovered, an alien device discovered on Mars, and it's actually containing a micro black hole. I think he was calling them quantum black holes back then, and they release it and it drops into Mars. And the story ends with the idea that eventually there's not going to be a Mars, there's going to be a black hole orbiting. It's not going to be any much more of a problem because it only has the mass of like an asteroid, but it's going to be the mass of an asteroid plus Mars orbiting in it. So, yeah, not very funny. I know. You're right. I'll try to leave you with something funny that seems wise at this point. Any other questions? Maybe I'll come up with something funnier. No? No? Okay. Well, so yeah, just coming back to if science reveals all these horrible truths, that's not the whole story. You can find great video clips of Richard Feynman online, and there's a beautiful one where he says that an artist friend of his said to him, the scientist, that when you look at a flower, you don't see all the beauty that I see. And he says that's ridiculous because I have eyes, I'm capable of seeing the beauty that you see, and I'm also capable of seeing all this other beauty that you don't have any concept of all these internal processes that are going on, and about the relationship with insects that come to feed on it and end up doing pollinating work for it. So science does bring something else. If it does tell us that we're mortal and even our species is not going to be here forever, and our star is not going to be here forever. Like I said, it's like this is a much more glorious picture of the universe, 13.7 billion years old, and trying to understand how this all happened is much more glorious than these simple, God did it. Which, I want to leave you with another quotation from another Isaac. Isaac Newton once said, "If I have seen farther than others, it is because I have stood on the shoulders of giants." And that's an amazing quotation and says something interesting about science, if you interpret it this way, that it's very humbling that, just to think, Isaac Newton, inventor of gravity, universally hailed as one of the greatest scientific minds to ever walk the planet, believed in giants. A lot of you probably already know that might have actually been a dig at another scientist who was short. But history has chosen to remember it as this beautiful statement about what the process of science really is like, and that it's like a relay race, and it's an ongoing process. It's a relay that I guess doesn't really have a finish line, and that each generation of scientists takes the baton from the last one, carries it as far as they can, hands it off to the next one. And it is a beautiful thing, and it's an ongoing thing, and it's a little closer to what we think reality is, and that scientists and skeptics are not the kind of people that accept "because I said so" as an answer for anything. So thank you for being here. Thanks for making this such a great success.